So welcome everybody, and good evening and good morning, depending on where you are. Mary Hunt here for water. Diane New, my colleague, and many more things, is here as well. And our wonderful staff, Wed and Magdalena, will be doing the meditation tonight. So it's kind of an all-water evening. We're so glad that you're here with us to talk about goodness, hope, and the taste of summer with our interns, Magdalena Müller and Wed Naji. And we're just delighted that each one of you is here. This is the seventh meditation of 2025. And they have chosen this theme, and they say that they will prepare us to enjoy and embrace summer fully. Now, Coralie, since you're in the South, I think you're going to have to just bank this and hold it for 6 months, and then you can watch this again. But for the rest of us who are in the Northern Hemisphere, they say summer is about recharging, having fun, living life to the fullest. This meditation will prepare us to experience the full potential of the summer season. And when I asked them initially what this was going to be about, they really didn't give me a theme. They just assured me that it would be epic. And so I would just tell you that prepare for epic. I don't know what it means to be epic at this point, but anyway, I'm so grateful to them for their willingness to step up and to give this a whirl. I like that about both of them. I'll talk more about them in a moment, but it's really great to see people who come to a place where they've never been before in a language that is at least a second or third language for them, and to take on these kinds of responsibilities and leadership. I just think it's wonderful. So before we go into the evening, I'd like to invite you to respond to my communication earlier today regarding leaders for our meditation sessions for next year. Never too early to plan. We need you, as we have had a custom here of socializing the leadership, so that all of us, including those of us on the water staff, can enjoy the fruits of meditation. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions about the memo that I sent out, or in the unlikely event that you didn't receive it. And just know that Brad Lutz has already snagged the November 3rd date. So if you're looking at November 3rd and that's the only one you can do, I'm sure we can work something out with Brad. But Brad was first in line and he got the November 3rd. So if you have an idea for a meditation, you might let me know what that is. And just know that we're looking for volunteers. We sometimes can't take all the ones we get, but we certainly try to have a good mix and a lot of variety in the kind of input that we get. Last month in this session, we heard from Cynthia Tootle, who's with us tonight. She led us through a guided meditation that she crafted, and it was a powerful experience for many people. Water thanks Cynthia Tootle for her inspiring leadership, and we look forward to her next offering. The video can be found on our website under Water Meditations, and just enjoy it. Let's begin with a land acknowledgement. This is something that we at Water have incorporated into our programs to remind ourselves of why we do what we do and what we need to do more of, given the systemic injustice Indigenous and other people of color face in this country. A land acknowledgement is a beginning and not an end. We at Water are on Indigenous land in Silver Spring, Maryland. This is the traditional and contemporary land of the Piscataway and Anacostan peoples. We acknowledge the trauma and injustice toward Indigenous people that is so deep in American culture and history. We join our efforts to those who want to eradicate it, and we pledge to make reparations for the genocide involved. Water's work is aimed to bring about social justice. So take a moment, if you'd be so kind, to consider the Native people on whose land you sit. Feel free to list them in the chat as a way to honor them if it helps you to take a deeper commitment to this question. We'll take a moment of silence. Thank you very much. Tonight, our format is similar to what we normally have had, although Cynthia gave us a great refresher approach. We'll have a short presentation from Magdalena and Wed, and then we'll have 22 minutes of shared silence. A gong will sound. It'll sound something like this.
We can't hear the gong, Mary. Oh, yeah.
It will sound like that. And we will have the time together in collective silence, the collective being an operative part of this work. After the silence and the gong again, we'll have a chance to share brief reflections as we wish. You are not obliged by any means to share a reflection, but you're welcome to. We'll end by 8:30 p.m. on the East Coast in the US, though the Zoom will stay on a bit longer for casual conversation. So I ask you right now just to mute your audio, and you'll be able to come back on with your audio later to be part of the conversation. But mute it now so we have a nice clear line for the presentation. Let me introduce my colleagues who will be leading us tonight. First is Magdalena Müller from the Thuringia region of the former East Germany. She graduated from college at George August University 2 years ago, actually majoring in political science and English. She will enroll this fall in a master's program at University College Dublin in European politics and policy. She comes to us from IRENE, the International Christian Service for Peace, an ecumenical peace and development service based in Germany. Magdalena spent last year in Morocco with IRENE, and she's now part of the DC group of the Brethren Volunteer Service, finishing her project at Water in August after a fruitful year. So I'm delighted to present her and to have had her as a colleague this year. With her is Wed Naji, born in Yemen. Wed graduated from high school last year in Bonn. She also comes to us from IRENE, the German Peace Program, and she too is with the Brethren Voluntary Service Program. Wed is interested in studying psychology and related topics, probably in Germany or perhaps in the Netherlands in the year to follow. She'll know later on this year which program she will attend. I would have to say she's among our youngest ever interns, but as mature, competent, and intelligent as any who have ever come through the door. She too will finish in August after a wonderful year at Water, and I'm deeply grateful to both of them, not only for their leadership tonight, but also for their stalwart work in the office. And I thank them in advance for this and for the many other epic ways in which they have enriched Water this year. Wed and Magdalena, over to you.
Well, hello and welcome to all of you, and thank you for joining our epic meditation, as some people would claim. And first of all, we would like to acknowledge all of the support and wisdom that both of us got from this wonderful community. We have learned from the best, which includes truly each and every one of you. Thinking back to our previous water meditations, you have not once failed to continuously welcome us with open arms. Your love and continuing support have not gone unnoticed. We are grateful to have earned your trust, enough for you to attend an intern-led meditation. This meditation will be the last before Water closes for summer break. Therefore, let's remind each other what summer is all about.
We know that in all of our minds we are troubled, thinking about all the crazy, inhumane, and ugly developments of our times. There is growing uncertainty and war in the Middle East and Europe. The world is watching governments abuse their power to create social injustice and chaos around the world. The intense heat waves that we've experienced in the recent weeks are likely just the beginning. This may actually be one of the coolest summers we're going to have from now on. There are clearly things that are outside of our control, that leave us concerned or helpless. But today, let's concentrate on the things we can influence. Do not get overwhelmed by the endless challenges that we are facing, but rather take it step by step, day by day.
Today, let's acknowledge all of the positive things happening around us, each day, and that are being overshadowed sometimes by fear, anger, and hate. Keep in mind your children, grandchildren, other family members, and friends who have graduated this summer. Be proud of them for achieving their educational goals. Be proud of yourself for supporting them along their journey. Think about the vibrant flowers you admire when you look outside of your windows into your garden, or when you leave the house. Do you notice that more children are playing outside? This summer, we might attend family reunions or weddings. These loud and joyful gatherings will be filled with hugs and laughter.
Even though there is hatred and struggle, let's choose to focus on good. The good that we bring into the world, the goodness around us, and the optimism of the summer season. Here are stories about German summers in the late 2000s.
So when I was a little girl, I remember I was being awfully jealous of families that had a pool in their backyard. The thought of being able to plunge into cold water at any given time of day or even night sounded like little me's own version of heaven. So one day, my dad called my sister and me outside after setting up the sprinkler to water our grass, gave each of one of us a water hose, and made us have a water fight to quote unquote help him water the plants. It wasn't how I envisioned my cooling off. However, it was twice as fun. And to be honest, the best experiences rarely happen exactly how we envisioned them beforehand, do they? Now, every sprinkler I see during summertime has me reminisce about summer at home on our lawn, chasing each other down with a water hose.
When I was a little girl, I remember making banana smoothies for my family in the summer. I smell lavender on my balcony while sitting on the floor and listening to the radio all day. Every morning at breakfast, my brothers and I used mango juice leftovers to make juice ice cream. It never tasted necessarily good, but the thought of stopping our little food experimenting would never even cross our minds. Every weekend, we went down to the Netherlands and spent hours sitting on the swings at the beach, even jumping from the swings, just to land on the ground with sand in our mouths, eager to do it again. Every one of these little unremarkable daily things in my childhood are now core memories.
We have already reached July. Weeks of summer have already passed. What have you experienced so far? Close your eyes and let's go back a few, for some of us, even more than a few summers.
As we go into silence, I want you to think about 3 questions. What is a summer activity you enjoyed as a child or adolescent? What summer activities do you enjoy today? Focus on your senses. What tastes, sounds, and smell do you identify with summer? Mary, we'll get back to you.
Thank you. Delightful. My mind is whirling. Now I have to meditate. We begin now our time of silence.
Hello, and thank you so much for letting us use this conversation. And we warmly invite you to share what you thought about, remembered, or what you meditated on these past minutes. You know, you can raise your hand. There's a button that says react, and then it just says
You have an echo.
I think you have two device. One with silence.
Let me see.
Is that better now? Yes, Cynthia Doodle says yes. Go ahead, Wed, Magdalena.
Yes, we open the floor to anyone with thoughts, comments, whatever. Just raise your hand like that or use the react button.
Oh, Lauren, is that a thumbs up, or do you want to share something? If yes, please unmute yourself. Thumbs up. Okay. Thank you. Anybody else want to share something about their summer when they were growing up? Pamela, yes, thank you.
Okay, so I grew up where there was always summer all year round. But during the real summer months, when we were off on summer vacation from school, I would have my cousins from the city, in Kingston, come on up, and those from the mountains where my mother is from, they would come on down. And sometimes there would be like 15 of us at the house. So part of that summer was like a camp. Who needed a camp? Um, I didn't go to summer camp as a child. My brother, who I follow, he would go off to camp for a week or two, but it was sort of camp for me at home. And during those times, we looked forward to go out to the river. We had a dam up in the water for most of the day, eating mangoes and just having a whale of a time. Sometimes I wish we could go back to that very simple lifestyle.
Yes, thank you for sharing. That sounds wonderful. Should all have a Jamaican summer at some point, probably. Oh, yes, Brad, please go ahead.
Thank you. And thank you, Wed and Magdalena, for sharing your stories, because I think summer is a time for stories and storytelling. We'd all be better off if we just shared stories instead of debated things. But your stories reminded me of the summers as a child when every Sunday after church, with my grandmothers, we'd go on picnics to roadside rests in the state of Pennsylvania where I grew up. And it was always fun towards evening to chase fireflies and try to capture them and keep them in a jar in my bedroom and see how long they would live, light up the night. And now that I live in a place where it's summer year-round, it's a bit of a challenge, but an important one, to look for the surprises in nature that seems to be steady without the change of seasons. So I really look always for new stories to tell when I look out in my backyard and see new things growing and new things blooming all the time.
Well, thank you for sharing some of your stories with us. That's lovely. It's been a long time since I've seen fireflies. Is that the name? But it's been a long time, actually. Yeah. Yes, Diane, please.
So come on over to our house, and as it gets dark, the fireflies are out. How are you not seeing them in DC?
Light pollution?
Huh. All right, you've got a few more weeks yet. As it gets dark, the fireflies are beautiful. I love them. They just glow, and they bring this mystical sense to the DC area in the evening. I grew up on a lake, and so all of my memories of childhood are around water. We would wake up when we wanted to. We would go outside in the yard, pull up a lawn chair, lay in the sun. Somebody would get hot, we'd jump in the lake. Somebody decided they wanted to go water skiing, and we'd pull the boat out and start water skiing. Or fishing. I learned a lot fishing with my father. My first sex education lessons came from fishing with my father. Everything revolved around the lake and the family. And it's interesting, today I got an invitation to a reunion, a family reunion, but it's the other side of the new family. There's this parallel. My father and his siblings and cousins, and we all grew up living in the same home, 5 families. Everyone had their own bedroom on the lake of my grandparents. And those reunions have continued, although we live different places, and I went to one this year. But this is the other side of the new family. They live next door. They were my great aunts, and they're still gathering in a reunion, and that new family home on the lake is still in their possession. I mean, they still own it. So what do I yearn for in the summer? I yearn for water. Here on the East Coast, I yearn for the ocean. Or I yearn for a lake wherever I can find it. And as an adult, that's not as often as it was as a child, but it marked me. And I think that water became the central element of my life because of that. And I'm grateful.
Cool. Thank you.
In my family, we did not have a lot of water near us, but my dad believed in taking vacations, and every year we'd go camping for 2 weeks, and then he started getting 3 weeks vacations, so we'd go 3 weeks, and his idea was to go see something. So we saw Niagara Falls, we saw Mammoth Cave, we went out to Cape Hatteras, we saw the museums in Washington, and I just got this sense of the joy of seeing new things, and walking a pathway in Watkins Glen, New York, seeing these incredible mushrooms that I've never seen anywhere else. Just the remarkable diversity of nature and how beautiful and surprising it is. And so I always look for that. But I have a lot of a lot of fireflies in my yard too. But I think for the thing I most enjoy right now in my life is sitting on my front porch with my beautiful garden, and my sense of my neighborhood. And I even take my computer out on the nice, not so hot days and work out there. Somehow being in the environment of the birds and the breeze on those days when that's possible, just it makes everything feel better for me.
Thank you for sharing. Does anybody else want to share with the group? Oh, Coralie, yes. Please go ahead. You'd have to unmute yourself. We can't hear you, Coralie. Sadly.
Yeah, in the middle of winter, it was very good to be able to reflect on summer. And I was thinking particularly of summer flowers that I loved that grow near me. There's a flower called Hardenbergia, a native Australian that has little purple flowers, and it creeps all over the fence. So it's a beautiful fence in the summer. And the jacaranda, which is just fills the streets with purple. So I look forward to the purple summer. But even now in the winter, you know, we have the daphne. I've got several daphne bushes in my garden, and they're beautiful. And of course, I put out a beautiful perfume. So flowers are not restricted to the summer.
Yes, thank God that they're not. But yeah, I was just looking out into our garden because we have purple flowers in our summer. So
Mary, go ahead.
Thank you. And thanks for the meditation. It was a really just a great springboard for helping us to uh, think about and to reflect on and to feel again the flood of images and tastes and sounds that are so well worth pondering about summer. And although your childhood stories are closer to the time in which they took place than some of ours, um, she put it delicately. I think that it's the same, you know, it's the same. These are enduring things. I was thinking about the music of the summer, um, how summer has its own literal rhythms musically. And I worked at a summer camp, not unlike this one that has just been so destroyed, sort of the Catholic, the good Catholic girls equivalent of that 100-year-old camp in the Adirondacks, named for Joan of Arc of all things. But we had literally a long playing record album and you know, CD. Well, I don't know if we have CD. I guess they wouldn't have CDs, but now they must have MP3 or whatever they have for music. And they literally, you know, the songs are the themes of our lives even as adults. And many of them are completely adulterated Broadway hits that we've made into Camp Shandark songs. And you can imagine some of them are hilarious. And some of them are very beautiful and very moving. And so I think of the music. I also think about the outdoor music places like um, Tanglewood, and the Saratoga Performing Arts Center here in Washington. Um, you know, there's several places where people can go. The Pavilion up toward Laurel, and what's the place in Northern Virginia? Pamela, what is it?
Wolf Trap.
Wolf Trap, yeah, Wolf Trap, and even such as they are, the concerts on the mall, on the holidays and other occasions, the symphony playing sometimes at the ballpark, you know, the opera night at the ballpark, and you know that's a Washington thing. They actually show a locally performed opera, and you sit in the National Baseball Stadium and watch, and so I think these are wonderful ways in which summer is articulated artistically, and I'm very grateful for those.
thank you. Did we miss anybody that wanted to say something? This is an open space for everybody. We love to hear from each and every one of you. Yes, Virginia, please.
Well, summer as a child or young teenager was very lucrative for its babysitting. And particularly because I grew up in Fairfield, Connecticut, and we were on Long Island Sound, you know, babysitting at the beach. And it would be so hot. I remembered, you know, with these maybe three children or something that I, you know, all through high school too, that I would babysit for in the summer. Not so modern as a nanny. I was just, you know, in the neighborhood, but a great, it was a great gift to get that 50 cents an hour or maybe 35 cents an hour in summer. But as an adult, and probably these, last, I don't know, 30 years of my life, looking forward to a summer retreat, whether it was 8 days or in one case, a 30-day retreat. Just the silence and the structure, nothing to worry about. Your meals were planned and you just had to show up, but it was always beautiful nature somewhere. So that's when I think about summer as oh dear, you couldn't hear it. It was a horn. The summer of retreats, I would say. So thank you. Thank you for helping us to remember.
Of course, thank you for sharing. We just talked to Mary about it in the office today. She said she and her friends still talk about the good old summer days, summer camp days. Yes, Cheryl, please go ahead.
Cheryl, you're muted. We can't hear you. You're still muted.
Okay, let's try. How about now?
Yes.
You can hear me. Yeah, thank you for Virginia. I had totally forgotten about the summer retreats, which was probably my one foray into nature in my summer life. But when you were talking about your summer experiences, Magdalena and Wed, it took me right back. One of my best childhood summer memories were riding bikes well into the evening, playing hide and seek in the neighborhood, again, well into the evening, and then finishing with when the good humor truck came by. And my grandmother would give me 2 dimes. I would run out and get 2 good humor bars. Can you imagine 20 cents for 2 good humor bars? And I have those memories are so strong. I think really they were my best summer childhood memories. But then the other thing that I connected with the summer was several volunteer experiences I had as a young adult. And even though they were working experiences, they were in different parts of the country. And I learned so much about, especially, I want to say, somewhat marginalized people in those experiences. In Harlan, Kentucky, in the early 70s, in the middle of the terrible miners' strike, there was a hospital strike, the devastation of the land, but it was an enriching experience in working with the people in that location. The next year, going to El Paso, Texas, and really falling in love with the Southwest and not really going back until just about 10 years ago. But I have striking memories of the Brown Mountains. The Rockies finish right in El Paso, and they're called the Franklin Mountains, and they're desert mountains. There's very little scrubs, maybe a few little trees, but just beautiful. And another summer in right off of outside of Charleston, South Carolina, again with migrant workers, and I would say kind of low income African Americans trying to help and support the migrant workers, and just being exposed to the daily lives and the challenges that these people lived with all the time, and just feeling enriched by being part of their experience, and also appreciating everything that I had as gift, maybe as privilege too. So thank you for bringing back those memories for me.
Thank you for sharing. We thank each and every one of you for sharing. Does anybody want, did we forget anybody? No? Okay. Then before we pass over to Mary, we would like to thank you all again for supporting us and guiding us through these past year and giving us the courage and wisdom to continue to grow as individuals and with water and as part of the Alliance. Thank you all for being here with us these past months and especially today. We greatly appreciate your participation and contributions, and we wish you all the best for the future, and we hope to see you soon. And let us tell you what makes these meditations so epic. It's you guys. It's not us, it's you being here with us and showing up every month and participating and contributing in individual ways. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much, Wed and Magdalena. Really special thanks, not only for this evening, but for the technical help all year long, and especially tonight for bringing a new perspective and a fresh perspective and a very helpful perspective to all of us. It's just right in the spirit of these meditations. Each one of them is so different and so unique, and you have achieved the epic standard that you promised. So thank you very much. I'd like to close our program by saying something about future programs, one of which will be on July the 16th, which is Wednesday. And normally our Wednesday programs are at 1 o'clock. They're water talks. But this special program will be at 7 o'clock on Wednesday the 16th. And it will be an opportunity to celebrate a woman by the name of Patricia Horsley, who passed away several years ago. It's a celebration of gratitude for a global friend. And she was, we will gather in conjunction with WATAC, which is the Catholic women's group in Australia, among others, who will join us, including Patricia's family. We'll gather to honor her many contributions with input from friends from WATAC, including Kath McPhillips and Tracy McEwen. Diane and I will make some remarks for U.S. folks. Those who knew and loved Patricia. Patricia really connected us and helped us to build our own relationships with colleagues in Australia. And we're going to celebrate that experience. And I just hope you'll come because, first of all, Patricia was a marvelous person, a wonderful support to water in every way, including as a philanthropist. She was someone who did a lot of philanthropy in her lifetime, and water was one of her the happy recipients of her sharing. But mostly she supported us. She loved everything we did, and she read everything we wrote, and she appreciated everything we offered. And she had no fax, she had no computer, and she had, well, she got the mail. So we had what we called the Patricia Horsley envelope. Now, this was a woman who had abundant resources, I can assure you. Her land was 13 miles long in Australia, Coralie. You know what that is. Did you know Patricia? Coralie, did you know Patricia Horsley?
I met her. I didn't know her well, but I have met her.
Yeah, well, you're one of the fruits of Patricia Horsley because she's someone who helped us to develop and to appreciate our relationships with you all in Australia. And but Patricia got the envelope every month from us. We would take a big manila envelope, and everything that was published or any program materials or anything you can imagine. This is all before email. She had no email. So this went on for years and years and years. And the Patricia Horsley envelope was collected during the month, and then the interns would send out the Patricia Horsley envelope. And then I would get a call from her, usually every 2 or 3 months, and she would call late my time and talk well into the morning my time. And just a marvelous person. I can't tell you what she was. So we're going to celebrate her, and you're more than welcome to come and just to appreciate the many ways in which people give the water. Just every way is appreciated. Philanthropy, friendship, support, humor. Patricia came to visit, and there's a celebrated event when she came for the 4th of July, and she arrived at a party we were hosting, and she arrived in an American flag apron with 2 large pockets, in each of which had a bottle of Malbec wine, an Australian Malbec. And so she was acting the kangaroo mother. Anyway,
Mary, I have to pause you because we always used to say the archives of water were in Australia in Patricia's home because she got that envelope every month.
yeah, I'm sure she never threw anything out either. But anyway, we'll be celebrating Patricia Horsley a week from Wednesday at 7 o'clock at night. But really join. It's going to be fun, and our Australian colleagues will have their own tales to tell, and we'll just appreciate this marvelous woman. The water ritual will be on Tuesday, the 22nd at 7:30 p.m. Many of you attend that, and it will be intergenerational, international, incredible women changing the world. And
bless Wed and Magdalena and send them forth.
yes, the blessing of Wed and Magdalena will be great. And we'll honor lots of different kinds of women in social work, education, science, sports, and so forth, not to mention our own interns. So that will, as Magdalena said earlier, will close the water program year, and we will take our annual August vacation like the Congress. And we wish they would get a little more out of their vacations than they do. But anyway, but we'll see you in the fall or the spring, Coralie, and you'll get program notices about what's happening. And I can tell you that one thing that's happening is that we will pick up this series of meditations on the help me, water interns, on the 13th of October, whatever that Monday will be the next water event for meditation. So I think you'll get plenty of notice of that. But just to say that there will not be a September one, but it will be in October. What's the 13th? Is that right?
Yes.
3rd of October?
13th.
13th, yeah, 13th of October. That's what I said. Yeah, so we're looking forward to that, and you will get communication about that. You also did get my communication about the happy opportunity to offer your services, and I'm looking at some of you very, very directly. I'm looking right at you, hoping that you will step forward, as some of you have done so well in the past. And please, if you have any questions or comments, or if you've never done a water meditation and you'd like to do one, let's talk about it. And as you know, all of our programs are free and open to everyone because of generous donors like you and Patricia Horsley. And at Water, we say if we share together, there's enough. And it has been the case that together we have shared, and there has been enough until now. There's no reason to think there won't be in the future. So thank you very much for sharing. With that, I bid you a good evening or a good morning, depending on where you are. Wish you a great summer or a great winter. We'll see you in the fall or spring. And the Zoom will remain open for conversation, but I can't close without thanking Wed and Magdalena one more time for a lovely evening and a very thoughtful and stimulating and inviting way of giving us a summer. Thanks, everybody. The Zoom will stay on for conversation.